In this scenario, we have already uploaded and worked on our SOP, and we're now ready to release the first version of this document. In the file item, we make sure that we set the document type to SOP. And in the next step, we need to tell the system who needs to be trained on this document once it is released. And that is something we do here at the bottom. Now, I will assign a couple of training groups to this document, meaning that everybody who is either a project lead or in a product development role will need to be trained on this particular document. For the release to take place, we need to give the document a proper first version. And we do that by adding a document change history to the first page of the document. So we need to open the document again, edit it, and then add an aligned document change history. So as usual, we click on the blue button to download the document and make sure that I open it in Word. Now, once I've opened it, it's time to insert the document change history. I insert it here at the beginning of the document, and I do that by accessing the toolbar, clicking on Insert Revision History. This will now automatically insert the document change history in the document. And this is a special document change history that makes aligned elements aware of the version that we use. So we can see that the author and the date is already pre-filled. So all I need to add here is the initial change comment. And make sure that you enter the change comment in this gray document control called description. I can now save the document back to aligned elements as usual and close the document. This takes us back to the application. And the final thing I need to do now is to set the document status to send to release, because this will invoke the signature process. Now in the signature workflow, we will assign signees, and that means that you have obviously already checked with these people that they are okay with the document in the current state before you get to this point. Now we can see that we now have a PDF copy of our original Word document and that the version of that document has been added to the file name. We can also scroll down here and see the exact file item that this signature is related to. Our next step is to assign signees. I click Edit. I set the signees, and I also make sure that the document change significance is set to initial version or major change. This is the signal to align the elements that this change needs to generate training records. It's such a big change that people need to be retrained on this document, or as in this case, in initial release. Now we save, and since I am the first person to sign off here, I will sign off using the Actions Sign button and an optional change comment. And I have now signed on the document. We can see that the approval table here has been updated with a timestamp of my signature. The signature has also been added at the end on a separate page in this PDF document. And the next signee has now automatically been emailed and notified that it's her time to sign off. The next signee can either sign or reject. Should a signee choose to reject, he or she needs to state the reason for the rejection. The reason for the rejection will then be added on one hand to the approval table here. It will be added to the PDF, and this will then terminate the signature workflow. And the PDF will be marked and the signature will be disabled. Moreover, the underlying file item will have a status set back to draft, indicating that the document needs to be modified. Now, once the last person on the signee list has signed off, the signature is set to close. The author is also notified that the document has now been completely signed. We can also see that the aligned elements automatically created personal training records for people that are either project lead or project managers, as in this example. These training records are associated with the document, but also with the personnel file of these two people. Now, the signed PDF is now also published under released documents. And this is the place where we can find all the latest released documents in our system. Let's head over to the next video where I show how you update a document and release subsequent versions.